You're listening to Dude Check This Out, episode 11!
Hey there everyone, welcome to the show. This is Dude Check This Out, episode, this is 11?
11.
Yes, alright. It's episode 11 with me, Noah, and my best friend over here, Kevin Land.
That's me!
That's him, it's him.
It's me!
And we are doing the show this week. We are hanging out in my room again.
We're back.
We're back up in it.
Back at it again.
Still figuring out this new technology we got going on here. I hope the last show sounded fine. Actually, we know it went up.
Yeah, I think it sounded better.
This week. Yeah.
So I think it sounded better.
A little better. I'm also still figuring it out, so it might sound even better this week. Hopefully, we'll see. We're hanging out. This week, we got. So we're kind of in the anime block right now.
Yeah, we did Bakuman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we got a movie coming up later. Uh-huh. And so yeah, this week we are going to be talking about one of the hottest new animes this year, and it's only January. Well, it's February now, but it came out in the first week of January. Yeah. The critically acclaimed Devilman Crybaby. So, I'm gonna just go ahead and preface this with spoiler alert. This is probably the most, the most needed spoiler alert ever, because this did just come out, less than a month ago. So if you haven't seen Devilman Crybaby, I recommend you watch it and then check back with us.
Yeah, pretty much everything else we've done is, pretty old.
Yeah, Bakuman came out in, 2010 or something,
a long time ago, yeah. And, Fez was super old, and Essex County had been out for a while too. Everything was nice and kind of old.
Yeah, but this is the new hotness. This is Devilman Crybaby. So it's it's so hot like hell, where devils come from. Mm-hmm. It all ties together. Yeah, so this is the new hotness, Devilman Crybaby. It's a new adaptation of the old manga and anime series from the 70s. I had never really experienced much of it before this.
Yeah,
I at least the reason why I got into Devilman Crybaby was because I saw Twitter could not shut up about Devilman Crybaby.
Oh yeah.
And they would also post a bunch of stuff from the previous stuff too. So I did a decent amount of research before experiencing Devilman Crybaby just to see what the hell was up with Devilman.
Okay, did you? I did not.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about it going into it.
Which is a pretty alright way to go into it.
No, it was good. Yeah. But I definitely, in the anime, they do show a few old school Devilman things.
I think that's one of the interesting things about it is that that Crybaby has somehow lives in a world where normal Devilman, previous Devilman
was a
exists.
TV show.
Yeah.
And so that, because I thought maybe I should learn about it a little bit, and that was the only thing that came up. That I was oh, okay, this is just a throwback, and I don't think it didn't apply to the story really at all.
Yeah.
The older Devilman, I don't think, unless you got something out of it that I wouldn't have by not seeing it.
I mean, I know that Rio is still a thing in the old Devilmans.
Okay.
I think that they actually allude to a little bit more of a shipping homosexual relationship between the two.
In this one or an old one?
Previous series
was more than this one.
Yeah, which it's still it's there.
Yeah, it definitely
in this
was.
One. It's definitely
especially
still
from Rio's. Maybe not so much from Akira, but definitely from Rio.
Yeah, and it's it's still enough from Akira. They kind of they play around with it in this, but it's not apparently the old ones. Or Kiki just jumped up, wants pets. But it was definitely a lot more prevalent in the previous series, from what I understand.
Well, were they both still the main characters?
Yeah, they were still both. Yeah,
they
were still both the main characters. And I'm not sure about all the previous characters, because I know that like previous Devilman, I think in tone is a little more goofy.
Okay.
Because it was the 70s, and like Devilman hangs out with like Mazinger, the like giant robot, and
that seems fun.
He also hangs out with like Cyborg 009 and the whole crew from there.
Okay.
So he did like a lot of crossover stuff with like other series from then, and the whole tone was just a little more goofy. I think I can't say with authority because I haven't truly experienced all the older stuff. But I feel like Devilman Crybaby is probably the most brutal the series has ever been. It would be pretty hard not to be.
Like I say, like I don't know exactly. I guess there could be more brutal things out there.
It could be as brutal, maybe.
Yeah, but there were definitely moments that it'd be kind of tough to top.
Yeah. So I guess that's some good preface for the preface. But let's jump into at least like a little synopsis of the series. So it stars a high schooler named Akira, and he grew up with his best friend Rio in like a little like mountain like
village somewhere with a lighthouse.
Where that's like where his like their vacation homes used to be or something, and they'd hang out as kids. And then as a small child, Akira's parents had to go do work in America, and they dropped Akira off to live with his family friends from a very young age in Japan, and he hangs out with the parents, one of his best friends Miki, and her little brother. And the thing about Akira is that he's a very sympathetic character to other people, because like anytime anyone mentions anything negative that's going on with them, he will just start crying.
He'll burst into tears. He's like, "Oh, you're crying too,"
and just start like feeling for them the things that they might not necessarily be able to feel outward or
express for themselves.
So he's always crying, either because of his feelings or because of other people's feelings. He's just always crying, which I think again was the thing from the previous series, like that people used to make fun of how much Akira cries. So they really leaned into it for this one.
I did not know that.
But that's who Akira is. And let's see, where do we go from here? Rio comes, and what does Rio need Akira for?
So Rio is his like super smart genius friend.
He does
who like shows up
archaeology research and stuff. Right?
And he's like a college professor, though he's like 16 or however old they are. It's anime. They're anywhere between like 13 and 19. Anywhere in there. And so he comes and he's like, "You have to come with me. We have to figure out what these devils are all about." Because he got roped into doing some research for his friend, and then his friend like caught himself on fire and killed himself. So he's like, "I have to figure out and show the world what these devils are all about. So you're gonna come with me because I'm scared." And Akira's like, "Okay, whatever you say, boss." And then gets roped into it, and then the whole series takes off.
So then they go to like the like crazy debauchery party.
Sabbath.
The Sabbath, where people are like doing drugs, drinking all the alcohol, barely wearing any clothes, all sorts of stuff like that,
having sex everywhere.
And they go there to try and figure out like where the devils are, because that would be like the main place where they would go.
That's where the devils possess people, or at these like crazy raves.
And so they go there, and then Rio basically like instigates Akira getting possessed by a very powerful demon called
like
Amon.
The most powerful demon.
Amon, who possesses Akira, but because Akira has such a strong will, he becomes a Devilman, which is a being that is possessed by a devil, but it has such a strong heart that they can still retain their humanity.
They haven't gone like completely total psycho. They've only gone like super crazy, like driven by lust and like need for violence, but they're still a human as well. They have like the human logic, and they still feel for people and that kind of stuff.
And when that happens, also there's a lot of people at the Sabbath that also get possessed but don't become Devilmen.
Yeah.
And Akira just like rips them all apart.
Oh yeah.
A really cool action sequence.
Oh yeah. I mean, my favorite thing about Amon or Akira or Devilman, whatever you want to call that guy, like Akira when he's like in super buff Devilman form, his main form of like beating the devils is he grabs them by the mouth and rips them in half. Normally, like, you know how you would like open your mouth, like if someone like stuck their fingers in your jaw and then like pulled your jaw apart. But since you're a devil, it just goes all the way to your tail or what have you.
Like mouth to tail.
Oh
or
yeah,
mouth to butt
and like
or whatever.
and just like tears into green and yellow gunk, and then he throws you to the side, and then he goes and does that to the next one. That's how he fights people, or he like just pulls them apart with his hands. Yeah. That's his like go-to super move.
Not like, so much punching, just grab and rip.
Oh yeah. Just literally rip them in half.
They all bleed yellow blood, and it
just gets everywhere.
A really cool effect. And yeah, so he becomes Amon or Devilman.
Devilman is what he calls himself.
And then he goes to school the next day, and he's like, like he's handsomer, kind of bad boy, aesthetic looking. He
grew like 5 inches. Yeah, he's freaking jacked.
Like everyone's like swooning over him. He's much more physically able. He's on the track team with Miki, and like Miki used to be the fastest, but now like he can just destroy everyone's time.
Yeah, and he runs like super weird.
Yeah, he runs like super lanky and like flailing his arms everywhere. Yeah, like almost horizontal. It's great. Then he kind of gets roped in with some of the stuff Rio's doing with like some of the like there's like underground devil mafia in Tokyo. I didn't
really know about that. They don't really talk about it very much. But,
yeah. Well,
because Rio just starts picking him up and goes, "Hey, we have to go kill the demons." So they go on like hunts to go kill all the demons or devils or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, because there's like, we gotta get the
we have to go get them
in Tokyo.
Yeah. So he goes and he starts hunting them. Then there's this cameraman guy who's trying to photograph Miki, who's his like sister more or less. God bless you.
Thank you.
And so he like goes and confronts him, and then he gets found out because he gets recorded by him. So he goes and kills that guy and starts killing everybody.
Yeah.
And then Rio eventually, there's this like big track meet, right? Like the nationals of whatever of the track meet.
Yeah.
And they're running the relay, and there's this super high schooler who's also possessed, and Rio has
also a Devilman.
Yeah, also a Devilman, and has concocted this like formula that will force him to transform. So he forces the transformation, and then the devil as this giant bull dude, like murders everybody. Like,
and then that shows like the world that like demons can be hiding in people. Mm-hmm. And that's dangerous.
Yeah, and that was Rio's way of letting the world know, hey, these are real, they exist, they could be anywhere.
Yeah.
So the whole world kind of goes into like panic mode, or at least Japan where they're at.
Like
probably the whole world too.
Yeah, like they locked down Japan like in a quarantine like war zone, and then because like everyone's freaking out, rioting and stuff.
Yeah.
And then. Like, they quarantine Japan, but then it starts, like, popping up in other places.
Yeah, because all the demons are like, oh, I guess it's time now, and they all start showing up.
Yeah. That escalates and escalates, and then eventually Rio, with, like, the Japanese government, broadcasts to the world, like, hey, if you think that someone, could possibly be possessed by a demon, you should just kill them, because you need to kill them before they kill you. And then the entire world just starts murdering each other.
Yeah, because what he does, he convinces the world. He shows the tape of Akira, whatever, however you want to say his name, and says like, hey, he transformed because he got really emotional. And he was like he had pent up anger because he couldn't control things. And so that's what turned him into a demon. So anybody can be a demon, if they're feel bad enough or they have enough like pent up emotions. So if you see anybody that looks really upset or really mad, they could become a demon. So you have to kill them before they transform and kill you.
Yeah.
And Akira's like, that's not true. That's not right. Why is he saying that? And then, but the whole world bites on it and believes it. So they just start, like, everyone just starts killing everybody.
Yeah, and even Miki like tries to like start like a social media movement of like saying like, hey, my best friend is a Devilman, and like if you're a Devilman, it's okay, you should step forward because like everyone's murdering everyone. And then like there's some Devilmen on social media that are with her. There's tons of people that are totally against her.
Yeah.
To the point where they find out where she lives and everyone just starts coming after her to kill her. So Akira and their fun rap group friends,
they were so cool,
have to protect her. And then hey Kiki, and then
sorry, I stopped petting you.
And then this whole situation climaxes into a hunt for Miki where everyone's trying to protect her. Rio's fighting a bunch of demons, or not Rio. Akira's fighting a bunch of demons, and probably the most heartbreaking part of the series, where everyone dies trying to protect Miki, and then Rio's like trying to race back to save her, and then dude is about to stab Miki, and then the whole show like holds its breath for a couple seconds, and then she just gets stabbed and dies.
Yeah.
And
then
brutal. Like Rio comes back, and like he wasn't even close. He was not even close to saving Miki. He went back to the house, and they had already set it on fire.
Yeah,
and
that was probably the most brutal scene. There were lots of brutal scenes, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that one where they have all the dudes, there's a bunch of dudes, and they're dancing in front of her burning house with her and all the rapper dudes' bodies torn apart on stakes and dancing, and then it does the slow shot from the bottom to the top of her dead face with her eyes still kind of lolled open, looking like weird directions and stuff.
Yeah,
like that was the most brutal scene of like the main character that's like, oh, she's like represents purity and she's such a good person and like she believes that like the best in everybody and all that stuff, and then it's just her dead head on a stick in front of her burning house.
Yeah, literally everyone Akira cares about are dead. Oh my gosh,
it was brutal.
And then also, I guess after that, a little before that, it's revealed that Rio is actually Satan.
No, it's revealed right after that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Rio is actually Satan and has concocted all of this from the beginning.
Yeah. But subconsciously.
Yeah, subconsciously. It wasn't until like maybe an episode before that like he's like his mind is opened to like everything that has happened up to this moment, and he realizes that he is Satan.
And that's why he and the demons put on that show of like, hey, anybody can be a demon, you need to kill everybody.
Yeah,
so that the humans crazy would thing
kill each other, and so the demons could re-inherit the world.
Yes,
because like Rio gets like his awesome like angel form because Satan is a fallen angel.
Yeah,
and like the story is that like Satan was like cast out from heaven, like the normal Satan story, and then like Earth was like what we think were dinosaurs were actually demons all over Earth.
Yeah.
And then God destroyed the world and rebooted it, and then humanity took its place, and demons have always just been kind of hiding under the surface.
Yeah. Waiting, because they have to fuse with things to exist. They can't exist on their own.
And then Rio was reborn into the world as Satan, or Satan was reborn in the world as Rio.
As Rio, yeah.
You would say. And like all these like different societies like worshipped him, and then he was taken by the government, or no, he was found by the government. He like killed a bunch of people and ran away.
Yeah, the government found him, and they were like, "Oh, this dude is crazy. He's literally Satan. We should try to kill him."
Yeah,
and he protected himself, killed all those dudes, and escaped. And that's where Akira found him.
Yeah, and then
he joined their family,
adopted-ish by a family. And then he hung out with Akira, and Akira is so sympathetic that like he is like the only person that he's ever cared for, or like the only person that has been able to like understand him.
Yeah, and get Rio and like really make a connection with Rio.
Yeah, so Akira has like really only been Rio's ever like true friend.
Yeah, because he has enough sympathy, empathy, whatever it is, to connect even with Satan.
Yeah,
where everybody else, Rio's so standoffish and kind of such of kind of a know-it-all, hot shot, and has no sympathy or empathy for anybody. That it's really hard to relate with him on an emotional level. But Akira has so much within him that he could and does relate to him, even at the very end when he's in, like fully awoken Satan form, Rio still wants to have that relationship with Akira. And so that's why it like flashes back to the very beginning where he is like, they went to the Sabbath party to find the demons, and he like breaks the bottle and starts murdering dudes.
Yeah.
And then he throws his camera or whatever and gets Amon to possess Akira. Like that was his plan all along.
Yeah, because he wants Amon to possess Akira so that they can basically like rule the world together as like best friends / lovers.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and the reason why he discovers he's Satan is the whole time up till like episode 9 of 10, he wants to kill the demons. That's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And so at like episode 9 or whatever, he realizes like, why did I want Akira to be possessed? He's like, I don't get why I did that. Why did I go kill those people? It doesn't make sense to me now logically. I need to know myself. Why did I do all this stuff?
Yeah.
So then he goes down and it's like, oh, I'm Satan. That's why. Oh, this all makes sense. Why I wanted the world to know about the demons. Why I tried to get Akira possessed. Why I've done everything up to this point was because subconsciously I wanted the demons to win, and I was setting them on the path to win.
Yeah. So then after that is all revealed, Rio teams up with all the like remaining Devilmen in the world to fight Satan and all the demons, and they have a whole all-out battle war that like almost destroys the world. And then like Akira just straight up gets cut in half and dies.
Yep.
And Satan is the only one left, and he's mourning the loss of Akira while also like celebrating ish that he's, you know, taken Earth again. And then God just straight up destroys the world again like he did the first time.
So to me it kind of seemed at the very end he was laying down with Akira and they're like looking up at the stars.
Corpse.
Yeah, and he's talking to him, just being like, oh, you know, this, don't you remember that time when I looked at the moon and you said this and I said this? Isn't this crazy? You know, it's like, man, I'm so glad we get to, you know, keep experiencing this together, living together, all this stuff. He's like, well, why aren't you talking? Why am I the only one talking? He looks, and he's like cut in half and dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, what is this feeling? You know, at the very beginning he says, I didn't think there was a thing of love. I didn't think love exists. And if love didn't exist, then sadness didn't exist. So I have no reason to be sad. And that's his like logic, Satan logic or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, I have this feeling now. What is this feeling inside me? Akira like, please tell me. You said I was crying when that cat or dog, whatever, died, but I didn't feel sad. I think I know what you mean now. And I think Satan begins to understand empathy and feeling for other people and not being just, you know, a creature of pure hate or whatever he was. Yeah. And so he's like, he's at the very, very end, he's like beginning his redeeming arc. Like, oh, I think I learned something. Oh, like I loved you. And now that you're gone, I feel sadness. Oh, if sadness exists, then love exists. I'm beginning to understand. And then God just blows up the world.
Yeah. And what I think was interesting, he blew up the world. And then like at the very end, like, you know, like the end screen, it shows the world. It shows 2 moons, which implies that the moon is from like the previous destroyed world.
Yep.
So the world is going to start over again, and humanity's destructive cycle will begin anew.
Yeah, I guess, because I guess if the demon / devil survive the first round, they should survive the second round. And if Satan survive the first round, he'll get reborn again in the second round.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, it's just going to start all over. And that the moon, originally Earth didn't have a moon. And then when like God blew up the world, it became the moon. And so now we have 2 moons. So eventually we'll have just a bunch of moons from all the different times God blew up the world because Satan and the demons got too powerful.
And I feel like that's actually like been a running theme of like a decent amount of like Japanese media I've been consuming recently, of just like the never-ending destructive cycle of humanity. You know, like the hope for a better existence, but that like also if we don't get better, humanity will just keep repeating itself over and over again. Mm-hmm.
What other things have had that?
I don't know. Like, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but Nier Automata deals with a decent amount of that.
Yeah. I know a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be a repeating thing recently. I have no idea why.
Doomed to repeat.
But that's Devilman Crybaby.
Kind of the synopsis.
Yeah, kind of the synopsis of the story. Yeah. So, what was your hot take, Kevin? Let's get to the hot take.
Ooh, the hot take.
The hot take.
So my hot take was I was not prepared for the amount of just everything that was going to be in that.
So I had given you like a decent amount of, warning.
Yeah, you did in the last episode. You said like, hey, it's rated a hard R, lots of nudity, all that stuff.
Yeah, like very like action and like sexually graphic. I guess that wasn't enough to prepare you for that.
Well, it was up here in my brain. It was not like here in my everything else. So because I was like, oh yeah, okay, it's gonna have violence, there's gonna be nudity, I'm an adult, I can handle that. And you get to the first Sabbath party and there's just
first episode.
Yeah, bumping lights, there are just boobs everywhere. And then the boobs then the boobs grow off the lady, start stretching, get mouths, and bite people's heads off. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
I didn't, knowing that there was going to be a lot of nudity did not prepare me for head chomping stretchy boobs. Okay, I was not prepared. But once I kind of got past the shock of the first episode, because the very first episode I was like, Noah, what are we like? What is this? And then I kind of took a step back. I was like, okay.
I was afraid you were gonna have that response. It was like I was kind of like I had second thoughts about recommending this to you, honestly, because I know your tastes.
Yeah.
And I remember watching, I think like the first 3 episodes, and I was just like, man, I really would like this to be for the podcast, but like I don't know if Kevin's going to like this.
Yeah, it definitely. I will be honest. My very first, I watched it twice.
Really?
Oh, well, yeah, because most things for the podcast I try to watch twice. Once to just get like an initial reaction, and then a second time to kind of get it, like to get thoughts together about it. And so I watched it, I guess 1.5 times. I watched it once just straight, and then a second time I like kind of skipped around stuff to kind of put notes together and get my thoughts. And so the first time I watched like the first 2-ish episodes, that's where I was really like, what am I doing here? What is going on? But about after I knew what it was about, kind of like, okay, the shock of the first episode or the first episode and a half kind of got by me. I was like, okay, like let's actually get into this. And that's when I really started like getting into it.
It's got a lot to offer. It's just that it can seem like it's hard to like get kind of past that first wall of like how very visually offensive it is to all your senses.
It really is. I did really like all of the music was rad. The animation was crazy.
Yeah, the animation is great. Like it's amazing animation, but it is also crazy. Like,
it's bonkers.
Also out of its mind.
Yeah, and it turns out it's kind of, I don't really want to say this, but it is kind of true. I'm kind of a fan of like body horror stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it has its merits.
Yeah, not that I like go and seek it out.
Like, oh yeah, body.
Yeah, like that.
Like,
No.
But like, it's interesting.
Yes, I can deal with that, I guess is a better way to put it.
Yeah,
and I find it interesting. So like, I guess another anime. I don't know. Do you ever watch Parasite? You know what that is?
No, I remember you really talking it up though.
Yeah,
that's something I've always wanted to.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But that also has a bunch of body horror stuff in it. That the first time you watch, it's kind of like I guess kind of like Final Destination, right? Like it's so gross, but you can't look away.
Yeah,
kind of deal. So after the very first kind of shock value of like, oh my gosh, what is happening, and then it turns into, okay, now he's ripping everybody apart. Once you got past that, I started really enjoying it.
Nice.
So yeah, I thought it was really good. The music was great. The art was great. I really like the dichotomy of, it does a really cool job of the crazy, intense, rave, flashing lights, really dark, crazy scenes to like the very slice of life feel of like happy-go-lucky kind of keyboard soundtrack, and then just walking along doing track workouts and stuff, and then it's like, oh yeah, like I'll see you later, and then he goes and like becomes a Devilman and like rips people to shreds. So I thought that was really interesting how they did that flip-flop of like different styles of when they're all sitting around the table and they're talking about like the little beef strips that like sizzle.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, are those real?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, they're alive. Oh.
They're souls."
Yeah. And so that felt like super slice of life. And then like all the color schemes felt that way. Everything felt that way.
Everything's so bright.
Yes, it's so bright and colorful. And then he goes and murders everybody at like this crazy rave. So I thought that was really interesting how the animators could have those two super contrasting styles in the same show.
Because even in like all the like graphic, action scenes where like demons are like literally getting ripped in half.
Oh yeah.
Like you would usually see that at like there are scenes that like take place at night that like are so dark that it's hard to see what's happening sometimes. Mm-hmm. But like when stuff starts getting ripped in half, the blood is all yellow, so it's all like very vibrant colors.
Yeah, super neon.
Like action and gratuity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is that your hot take?
Oh yeah, that's the hot take. It's not for the faint of heart, and even if it's not that bad. It's probably worse than you think it is.
Yeah.
But if you can get past that first kind of like gut check of the first Sabbath party, then you're in for like a really sweet ride the whole way through.
Heck yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So I guess let's move on to the next thing. What did you think about some of the characters? Because this has some really, really cool characters. I've seen a lot of really awesome fan art for a lot of characters.
Yeah. Akira is a super lovable main character.
Oh yeah.
He's super lovable. He's super great. And he doesn't really change a whole lot until like the very, very last episode. And that's kind of a cool way it's kind of endearing to show that, the fighting for other people and the empathy and believing in the good of people that can like him lasting through all the crazy stuff that Ryo puts him through.
Yeah. Until
the very, very end when everybody dies and he's left by himself. And that's like the final thing that makes him break.
Yeah. And just like, okay, we have to fight now because you've literally killed everything I love.
Yeah. And it's not in the sense of like, I hate you so much that I want to kill you.
It's you're on the wrong side.
Yeah, and
I'm fighting for what's right.
Yes, and you've done so much wrong and you're going to continue to do that I have to put it into you.
Yeah.
And it is the first time where he's like, I want to cry for you, but my tears have all dried up, and I'm going to murder you. I was like, yeah, okay, Kira, like I'm on board.
It was pretty great.
Yeah, he's really great. Miki is really cool. She also has that character of like believing in the good of everybody all the time, and she's like the perfect idol lady where she's like could do no wrong, is like the best on the track team, great personality, has people like asking for her for interviews and all this shit. She's the witch of track and field.
Yeah, because she like was the fastest, and then like everyone starts getting like crazy devil powers. Mm-hmm. And, she's obviously not the fastest anymore.
Yeah, because she's not possessed by a demon devil person.
Yeah, but then, especially, like, her other friend, who I'm sure we'll get to,
Miko,
whose name is Miki, but we'll get into that. But she gets her crazy super devil powers and is like, well, I guess I'm the fastest now. And Miki's like, yeah, this is going to be great. We're going to do so good on and then she's like, no, you're supposed to be upset.
Yeah.
Like, she is such a good person that she knows that, like, that shouldn't be something that should hurt her feelings.
Exactly. So I thought, for the most part, I felt that Miki, Ryo, and Akira were all kind of, like, set characters that didn't really change a whole bunch through the show. They didn't have, like, big arcs or anything like that. And they stood for more, like, ideas. Right? Like, Ryo was Satan, turns out. And so I don't really know what he like really stood for, except that he was kind of like the driving force of he was the reason why all this stuff was happening. Subconsciously, he was forcing the world to go to this crazy whatever place. And so I thought that the side characters have much more kind of interesting story arcs to them that I thought was really cool. Probably my favorite characters. They don't do a whole lot, but I still like them the most for the rap group. Yeah. They were so cool.
They're the best.
They were
I love
rad.
them so much. Like they have a couple episodes where they'll open the episode with a rap.
Gosh, my favorite part.
They're first introduced when Miki's at the dock, and they come and like kind of like rap
freestyle rapping, yeah.
生きるリバサイガスの吹き溜まりハマっちまったやつほど口が悪いここじゃ成功ってやつ雲隠れ俺たちの未来と空の色はグレー常に空気が悪いし水もダメ喘息が蔓延して身が持たねえ神様も逃げ出す最底辺なら書き残すこの目しか見れない経験カツカツな生活できない贅沢全てが窮屈でも唯一の本願出るのは目じゃなく名前だけこの決意に甘えはねえ
And then Akira and Ryo show up and stuff happens.
Yeah,
but,
so they were
they're
super rad.
Super awesome.
Yeah, especially the guy. So I watched it on Netflix, and they normally rap in Japanese. But there's one specific point where I feel terrible because I don't know his name, and in his rap he says, "This is my name," and it's like I want people to remember me, and I don't remember his name. I feel terrible. Like the guy with the yellow glasses that was rapping at Miko, that makes her cry. His rap was super good. I was like, man, and they do it in English. Like, man, this is rad. And I like all the raps that they do at the beginning or in the middle of the episodes. Those are like my favorite parts. That was so cool. And then they turn out to be like super badass fighting guys that like beat off a bunch of like different dudes as they like attempt to.
They're from the streets, man.
Yeah. So they like fight off a bunch of dudes to like protect Miki and all that. And then they end up dying anyways, which was super sad. But I liked the guy with the dreads, how he had like that golf club and he was like killing, like beating everybody. Oh, it was so good. So I really, really liked them. But the super high schooler, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either. I know who you're talking about. The guy that like turns into the bull.
Yeah, him and then Miko, I think have super interesting and really cool character moments.
Oh yeah.
And that they both are. I mean, I think Miko ends up like confessing her love for Miki. I don't know exactly what type of love that is, but that was like that was a really cool moment when she's like running on her spider back or like on top of her like crazy spider back, and she's like, you know, we used to run here, like, you know, I love you, this is awesome, like I love running, I'm glad we could experience this together. And then she dies trying to protect her.
Yeah. And the tragic part about that is that like she's always wanted that relationship with Miki, but because people preferred Miki over her, and because they shared the same name and even started calling her a different name, she felt like she could never her disdain could never foster that relationship. But now that the world's ending, she like finds herself kind of almost having that relationship and wishing that it could last longer. Yeah,
and that she could finally get over herself to admit her feelings to Miki. And then Miki, being the perfect angel she is like, yeah, I know you hated me, and I know that you loved me. And then it's like, and I will accept you for whoever you are. Yeah. Like, however you feel, whatever you are, I accept you. And that, you know, makes Miko...
Classic Miki.
Yeah, exactly. Being the perfect angel that she is. And so then Miko, like, kind of breaks down. It's like, okay, well, then now that I've admitted this to you, I can, like, do what I need to do. I can protect you. I'm good now. I can, you know, more or less, I can die. Because I have nothing left that I'm like really holding on to, or any grudges or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I thought Miko was super interesting. The super high schooler was okay. He was like the traitor guy. He ends up betraying them and joining the demons.
Yeah, I mean, he's like straight up on like Ryo's side in the final battle.
Yeah, he
like shows up for a second with like his weird, like he has like his bull, but then like his straight up just like human face is like on screaming at
on the top of the bull.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and then he gets like punched a hole through or something. I don't remember exactly, but. So I thought he was pretty cool too, and that struggle of him and Miko both had the same kind of deal. Of Miko had her thing where she hated Miki, and he had the guilt of him killing his best friend, lover, guy, what have you.
Yeah.
When he first got possessed, and so he was dealing with that guilt while she was dealing with the pain and the jealousy of trying to be better than Miki. And Miko overcame that, even they were both possessed. Miko overcame that by admitting those feelings to Miki and having Miki accept her. Where the super high schooler, he fell victim to the guilt and then sided with the demons instead. Yeah. And so to see how two characters because they're like running on the rooftops together once the world's kind of going all to shit. And they're like, hey, you know, like either way we win, whatever. And they like go to save Akira. And she saves and runs off, and the other guy sticks around instead. So and then he joins the demon. So I thought that was really interesting, kind of how they had the same path, and then they broke one to redemption and one to...
you kind of get to see both sides of like that character archetype.
Yeah. So I thought that they had more interesting things going on as characters than Akira and Miki and Rio, because they were doing more plot, like big storyline.
They were driving the plot along, while Miko and Trackstar dude got to have like
character moments.
Yeah, like serious character moments.
Yeah.
Those are all the cool characters. And just one more thing before we wrap up here. This series has a lot of really great moments.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, what were some of your favorite moments?
So, some of my favorite moments were definitely how the very first time you see him rip apart that big serpent dude.
Yeah.
That was rad. And then he rips apart everybody. There's a time he was flying through the air after he gets stabbed by the super high schooler when he's, like, being hugged by all the little kids.
Oh, yeah, right.
In episode 9.
Yeah.
And then all the dudes are flying, and he goes and rips one apart, and then flies a little bit, and then rips the other apart, and flies a little bit, and then rips the other one apart. And I was like, oh, okay, stick to your guns, man. If it works, it works.
Trademark Devilman.
Yeah, so I really like that. Every time there was that underground mafia people, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
The underground mafia demons or whatever. There was the lady that would talk. And she had this, like, super high-pitched, like, real, like, squealy voice that made me laugh every time. Because she went, demon. Just like, oh, okay, lady. So every time she showed up, I thought it was hysterical.
Okay.
And then pretty much everything in episode 9. Episode 9 was insane.
Crazy. Yeah.
So, like, that's where the rap guys get super cool.
Happens, yeah.
Yeah. And, like, a lot of cool character moments kind of hit and come out. So, episode 9 was the one that, when I went back through my second time, I just watched it straight through and didn't really skip through anything because there's so much goodness in episode 9.
Yeah. So,
that was really cool. Nice. And then the last thing was, at the very end, in episode 10, like, there's Satan or Rio standing on the dragon. And he's standing on a dragon, which is like the straight biblical illusion of, oh, it's the end of the world, the seven-headed dragon with 7 horns on each head, yada yada yada, and there like has that biblical illusion of like, oh, it's the end of the world. Satan's literally standing on a dragon. I was like, oh, hey, look, it's the biblical end of the world. How nice. So I guess whoever did it also did a little bit of research into like actually what they were talking
Revelation
about. Yeah,
and all
Revelations
that,
and that kind of stuff. So that was cool. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nice. Well, like some of my favorite stuff. Like, at least, like, right before I started watching it and, like, everyone wouldn't shut up about it on Twitter, like, there was just, like, a bunch of, like, captions of moments that I saw from the show. Like, there's like, the second episode when it's kind of going through, like, how Akira's life has changed, like, since being possessed by a demon. And he's, like, in the store, like, in, like, a convenience store where that girl's, like, you know, like, checking the items out for him. And then he just kind of, like, gives her, like, the side eye.
Yeah.
Kind of, like, kind of looking face. And then there's, like, a moment where, like, I forget, someone was calling Miki on her cell phone. Oh, yeah, it was the photographer guy was calling her on her cell phone. And then Akira's like, give me that. And, like, starts, like, you know, like, berating him to get off the phone. And you see the FaceTime, and it's just, like, a extreme close-up of his face, just, like, like, it's a really hilariously drawn Akira face that I saw everywhere on Twitter for the longest time. I think like even like some people are like making little keychains that are just like a cell phone with Akira's face in it that are really good. I wish that the mafia lady, the lady that like there's like the bird demon lady.
Yeah.
I wish she had gotten more time to do cool things.
Yeah, she was cool.
They like build her up until like the 5th episode, and then like Akira just kills her.
Yeah, but I mean, he almost dies trying to kill her.
Yeah, that was a really like drag out fight, but I thought she was really cool.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She had some pretty great moments, and yeah, anytime any of the demon possessed people run in track and their arms and legs are just going everywhere is always hilarious. And I really like their coach. You know,
he's a Devilman the whole time.
Yeah, because he's like you see him just like in the wheelchair, just kind of spacing out, looking at butterflies for most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like one moment where he like
it's in episode 1.
Yeah,
he eats the butterfly with his tongue.
Like a frog tongue, and he just like eats the butterfly. And I thought that like, well, that's probably just like a weird like animation trick they wanted to do, like just because this is like all of this is weird. So that's that like I'm willing to accept that as just like a weird one-off thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like you said, like it pays off at the very end that he's been a Devilman the entire time. He gets up out of his wheelchair and goes yeah, and then
grows a third arm. It's like oh yeah, he's rad.
So I thought that was a great payoff moment.
Yeah, cool.
Well, I guess we are now ready to move into our ratings segment.
Ooh, the ratings.
I did not actually think for very long about what I wanted the rating to be.
It's okay, I already know my answer.
Well, hang on. Okay.
I already know my answer.
Let's see. This whole thing had crazy like animation stuff. So what would this be on a scale from 1 to...
I mean, you can think for however long you want.
Yeah.
We just cut the time out. But I won't do that.
No.
I'll leave it all in. It's not like you also get to cut this thing. It's not like,
Well, this does have a lot of like crazy like body horror, right?
Yeah, it does.
So what is this on a scale from 1 to Cronenberg? Yeah. Like fly and all that.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that doesn't fit with my answer that I was going to give. I'm going to stick with it anyways. I'm going to give it a Hotline Miami.
Okay.
Because it's got crazy colors that are neon and insane.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of violence. Like, a lot of violence. And Hotline Miami had some sexual content, whatever the little top-down pixels could give you.
It was there. Definitely. Yeah. So I'd say that works.
Yeah, a Hotline
Cronenberg
Miami
is like on like the very like high end of like you had better like be okay with this or else like you're not really going to interact with it.
Yeah.
And Hotline Miami's
I
like
mean, I could also give it, if we wanted to go with straight body horror stuff, I could give it like a Human Centipede.
Oh God.
That's gross body horror, right?
I could not even sit through.
I haven't and I won't, but
Human Centipede. Me and Jordan tried once.
Why?
And because
why would you do that?
We saw the hype and we started watching it and we thought like, yeah, we like horror movies. We should check this out. And then maybe like a third into it, I kept looking down at her to kind of like gauge. Well, like she was like laying in front, like we were laying sideways. She was laying in front of me.
Sure.
And I kept like looking like down to her face to see like.
Is she into
like,
this? Because I'm not into this.
To gauge her reaction, because I was like, just thinking like, I don't want to watch this anymore. This all seems like really like needlessly like terrible. And I kept like looking down at her to kind of gauge her reaction, and then eventually like it was right before like the surgery scene happens to where like like it goes full Human Centipede.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like looked down at her and went like, hey, do you want to watch this anymore? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay, good. I'm glad we were both having the same reaction to this. Let's please watch something else.
Yeah. So I don't want to give it Human Centipede. I'd rather give it Hotline Miami because I think Hotline Miami is a much better thing than Human Centipede is. But if we're going strictly on body horror, I don't know if there's any other. I don't know if I can pull up any good body horror things to my brain. So I'll go with Hotline Miami.
I like it. Okay.
That's what I'll go with.
There we go. That's the rating, everybody.
Yeah, we did it.
All right.
Because, I mean, it also had, we didn't really talk too much about it. It had a bumping soundtrack, very similar to Hotline Miami's. So good. Like, the super, like deep synth stuff going on. It was awesome.
Yeah. And just, like, the theme, the orchestral theme,
that
is
too.
So good. Yeah, I listen to that soundtrack on its own any given time.
Yeah, because it has, like, some really sweet choral stuff and some really good, like, synth stuff, similar to Hotline Miami, the crazy colors. So, yeah, Hotline Miami, done.
Nice. There's the stamp.
Yeah. I didn't forget. Did you forget?
No, I didn't forget. I just assumed that would be going forward.
No, yeah, that's it. That's the stamp. We have set our stamps in stone.
We have the crowd off to the side, and then we also have the stamps.
Yeah. Hey, crowd.
Hey, how's it going?
They're cheering, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Can't you hear them?
Oh
Obviously,
yeah, I can hear them.
Yeah.
Obviously, I just wanted that. I just are they cheering?
Just making sure this is real, right?
Yeah, get them to go louder, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how we fit this many people in your room, by the way.
Oh, it's
I mean, it's a big room, but.
And we also have the nosebleeds up there.
With, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, he's doing good.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, hey Jeremiah, you're back.
Great show, guys.
Thanks, man.
Woo.
Oh, I saw you have a friend over there.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Oh, his name's Kenny.
Oh, Kenny.
What's up? Kenny's
Dude.
even more energetic than I am.
Kenny sounds like a freaking loser.
Shut up.
Geez, sorry, man. I didn't. Okay, wow.
Please don't antagonize our audience.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kenny.
That's okay. I forgive you.
All right, Kenny. You know what, Kenny? You're all right. You're all right, Kenny.
Thanks.
He's a cool guy, that Kenny.
Yeah. I approve. Great audience member. Especially dedicating all the way up in there.
Yeah.
Up in the nosebleeds. Okay.
Rad.
Before the thing that Kevin gives me, we have someone else who's going to give us something, and that man is Jonathan Drive.
You've literally never called me Jonathan before.
Have I not?
No.
You know you did it last week.
Yeah, I know, and it was weird the first time, and it's still weird now.
What, you'd rather be Johnny Boy?
Well, coming out of his mouth, it's different.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Also, have we established, has Jonathan been here the whole time? Has he been sitting in
No,
the
I
corner
have
this
not been
entire
here the whole
episode?
time.
He has been.
I have not flown out the window.
He has been.
Your guests are weird, but I am a normal adult male.
Well, you're our first official guest.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Official guest.
You have a microphone in your hand.
Yeah.
This is true. Did Daniel have a microphone in his hand?
No,
He did
he
not.
was he was very tight-lipped.
Yeah.
Very
The entire
tight.
time.
So tight.
Never actually said anything except for that one time he roared and
Yeah,
threw out the window.
The window.
Yeah. So you're not going to do that, are you?
Probably not out the window. No.
Perfect.
Okay.
It'd break my wings.
As long as, that's also a lot of repair for the window.
It's not a very big window.
Yeah, it's also not a very big window. That's true.
That's fine. But yeah,
But
so
I digress.
Yes, yeah. So you're our first official guest, and you're going to be giving us a thing. And what's that thing?
That thing is the anime movie Your Name by Makoto Shinkai. It came out in 2016, and it was, or I think it is, the highest grossing anime movie, just period.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. I
Yeah, it like broke tons of records in
Dang.
like last year.
It
when
really
came out.
resonated with
from what
the
I know.
Japan populace, especially because the male is in Japan, or the male lives in Tokyo, and the female lead lives somewhere else. So
yeah.
it was a good, feels good movie for them.
I think it was a big deal when it came over here too. Like box office like was pretty good, but like yeah, in Japan it just like destroyed
Yeah.
everything.
I'm also now running into the problem where I nod to like say yes to someone, but the microphone doesn't know that I've nodded.
Yeah, welcome to the audio media. Yep.
I do that a lot, which is why I think you hear me say yeah a lot, just to like this is the recognition that I am nodding and I don't know what else to say, so I'll just say yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for letting me into the behind the scenes of your podcast.
Heck
Yeah,
you're here, man.
yeah, we are so prepared.
Yeah.
We have prepared you well. You're prepared. We're prepared. We're all prepared.
I was
Oh.
Yep, I've had whole weeks to prepare.
Yep. Weeks of training, rigorous podcasting training.
Yep,
And
I won't mess up nodding or speaking into the microphone or stuttering at all.
It'll be great. And that will happen on the next episode of Dude, Check This Out. Thank you, Kevin.
That's me.
Thank you in the future, Jonathan, for the next episode.
That's
and
future
this
me?
little thing here. Yeah, future you. Let's
Future
shout
us.
out to future Jonathan, future us, future
Hi, Sam.
everybody. Yeah, hey, there you go.
Sam. Yeah, you won. You won the race.
Yeah.
You made it here first. I'm sure she won't be mad.
Probably not. She's really sick right now.
Aw.
Yeah. I think she's still figuring out what she wants to give us anyways. I keep asking her,
She doesn't know.
and she still doesn't know.
There's too many things on her list.
But we will know in the future, which is when the next episode will be, and
Oh,
we'll see everyone.
segues. Oh.
And we'll see everyone in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I can hear you right in my cans. It's whatever he
What you've always dreamed of.
It's every girl wants to hear. I can hear you right in my cans.
My seductive voice in their cans. Do girls have cans? I guess anybody can have.
I mean, isn't that like
wear cans?
That's what that's a euphemism for butt most of the time, right?
I guess
that girl's got some. Well, also boobs.
I don't think so. I never heard boobs.
That girl's got some great cans.
I don't know. If that's a thing.
Isn't that a thing? Maybe
cans. I've heard like
maybe you haven't watched
things,
as much like detective noir as I have. I feel like that's a detective noir thing for a guy to like detective noir man to stay. Or like like that, or like look at the yams on that.
I've heard yams.
Yams, cans. Cans of yams.
I mean, there's like the can, like the toilet.
Yam cans.
But I don't know if I would ever.
There's so many things for cans.
I don't know if I've ever heard boobs as cans.
I don't know. If this makes it into the episode, someone look it up because we obviously don't have the ability to.
Yeah, right.
Let us know. Email into the show. Do check this out, podcast at gmail.com.
About cans.
About cans.
Yams.
Yams.